So we're back here at climategov to look at this precipitation graph or map for all of the U.S. here. We're going to take a closer look at what's going on over here in Vermont. If you scroll down here a bit, there's a link that says large map that will let us focus in on what's going on for Vermont here. And again, this is for May 2015. And you'll see in Vermont, it's kind of interesting in the southern part of the state, in brown over here, the brown colors indicate less precipitation than normal. Okay, so less than 100% of the normal precipitation, and the green colors here indicate more precipitation than normal. Okay, and what we see here for Montpelier, this is right in the Montpelier area where you seem to be there's more precipitation than normal. You actually have something on the scale of approximately 125% of the normal precipitation, meaning you have an increase of 25% for 2015 during this month. So back at weather.gov/climate, we can do for Vermont what we just did with Phoenix. We can have a look at what the accumulation graph looks like for Montpelier in central Vermont. The one we're interested in is actually the Barrie Montpelier Airport. It has the most reliable data there. We'll start by looking at the daily climate normals there, or the monthly climate normals. Yeah. And here you see the precipitation that falls at Montpelier. And this is typical for Vermont. You can see in the summertime the precipitation maxes is a maximum in July of around 4 inches. That's due to a lot of thunderstorm activity that occurs in the summertime. You don't have that happening in the winter. And you also see a little bit of a maximum here in October. Not significant. Maybe a little more transportation from moisture transport from the Gulf of Mexico might be causing that. Nobody's quite sure. But in any case, it's around 4 inches of precipitation, and that's pretty much the state average for Montpelier. So Montpelier is pretty typical that way. So we go on. We want to see specifically what happened during this year, during 2015. So we do sort of the same thing. We go to accumulation graphs. We go to the previous month of May, and we just go there. And we have something similar to what was going on at Phoenix. You can see in brown, you have the graph looks the same. Then you have a sort of a total accumulation. Normal accumulation here of about 3.37 for the month of May. But the accumulation for this year was a little bit more, 4.93. But if you look at how that compared to Phoenix, we have quite a few more events here. So every time this green line, which indicates this year's data, goes up, that indicates that precipitation fell on that day. So, for example, the first day of precipitation here was May 10th, where there's a daily accumulation of 0.19. Yeah, and we can compare as the month goes by if it's sort of more than normal and less than normal. Okay, so parts of the month here, for example, in May 12th, we actually would have more than normal precipitation that fell because the green line is larger than the brown line. Then we had a dry period here in the middle of the month, so that you can see by the time you get to May 28th here, the accumulated precipitation is actually less than normal, 2.25 compared to 3.08. But then at the very last day here, the last 2 days here, the last 3 days were very rainy. So for 3 days of rain here, first you had an accumulation here of 2.11 inches on this day. And then on May 31st, you had an accumulation of 0.57 inches. And that was enough to bring up the average or bring up the total precipitation to higher than normal for the month. Okay, so really, what you can see is with a lot of these anomalies of precipitation, in other words, precipitation that departs from the normal, it can really just be like one event, whether you're in the desert or in Vermont. One event can make the difference in that. So at one station, you can't. It doesn't really tell you much about what the overall climate does. What you really need to do is look at a climate map like the one that we showed earlier. Those will tell you how what the actual climate system is bringing you.